Oh my goodness. Man, this is deflating. This is deflating. I did my whole first video with no audio. And man, I felt like I was really being blessed to say the things that I was sharing. And I did that whole thing with no audio. Oh, man. Oh, well, I'm going to just have to do it another time because it's time for the reading of the word. I messed up. Anyway, I guess I'll just hit some bullet points of the first video where I didn't have any audio. I talked about basically the difference between the Faithists and the Uzians, and I was showing scriptures about Faithists are basically brethren whom the Creator acknowledges as His own, His chosen. I talked about the Uzians. I talked about Messiah. I talked about Jesus Christ and how He mentioned a custom that was known to what the OAHSPE calls false gods. I showed the scripture where Jesus he talked about uh, he talked about a tradition that Christianity has, but it comes from a false god. I showed this verse right here in my room. I'm just going through the bullet points because it's time for the reading of the word. I did my whole video about a whole hour with no audio. So I'm really, I'm so deflated right now. Anyway, I was showing that Jesus Christ, that he gave a tradition that comes from a false god. I showed this right here. You can read it. You're gonna just have to read it, and then I showed what it's where the false where it comes out in the Bible. But the OAHSPE exposes where it came from. It comes from a false god. The eating, the drinking of the cup, the eating of the bread, eating of his body and his blood. I went on and talked about how Jesus Christ, that the Bible, it condones the eating of flesh, and Jehovah, he does not. And basically just showing some differences. I talked a little bit about what else? I can't remember now. The difference between Faithists and Uzians. Faithists and Uzians, and how the Creator, he said that there are only two people in this reality that he looks at. He's divided this world into two realities, Faithists and Uzians. Okay? So basically, those are like the bullet points. I was basically talking about um, how we have we about I talked about a little bit about the way of faith, and I was mentioning I had bought a desk, and it taught me a little bit about spirituality in the sense that when you're trying to put something together like that, you if you don't follow the instructions, you'll make mistakes, and you have to deconstruct what you've done and then correct it and start all over again. And faith is a lot like that. And I talked about some things that my sister posted in the room that exposes the false god of Christianity, God of the Bible, some postings that she made. Man, that's really eating at me. I did that whole first video with no audio. I wanted to show what my sister posted. You're just going to have to read it. I'm moving kind of fast because I want to get to the reading. Here it talks about the Holy Ghost, how it was made to replace Jehovah. It was made to replace Jehovah, the worship of Jehovah, to attribute his power to something else. I talked about Luamon, or the sister. She posted in my room the truth about the God of the Bible, how the God of the Bible comes from a false God. That's something that's going to be a sore spot with Christianity. So let me see if anyone's in the room. Oh, wow. Hey, Prince. Good to see you, bro. My whole first video, bro, I did it with no audio. So you might be coming in when the audio was coming out. I did the whole first video, brother. No audio. And I thought I made some really good points. Just that shows you how it goes sometimes, you know. Good to see you, brother. How you been doing? Haven't been able to catch you last couple of days. Let me catch up. Hope you staying strong. Let's see what you got, man. But it's out there, the ether. Yeah, right on, bro. Yeah. Oh, that's so deflating, man. I thought I made some really good points, man. Come the sister come in, come to find out I wasn't even speaking. But you're right, it's out there in the ether. Anyway, bro, good to see you. I'm going to go into the reading of the word. I'm late now, so good to see you. I hope you staying strong. I hope you getting the encouragement, the blessing, and hope that brethren are helping to support you, man. You know, I support you. So it's good to see you in here. Thanks for joining, brother. Time to go into the reading of the word. I'm going to read from God's book of Ben. And may the Heavenly Father bless the reading of his word. Get right into it. I'm late. The 9 entities. And so here are the 9 entities over here. The signs, Jehovah, the sign of Jehovah, Te, S, the 9 entities, Corpor, Hak, Uz, Cosmin, Esphoma, Cephas, and these are the 9 entities. Basically, these make up our reality, and it's going to explain these. It's going to explain these when I'm getting ready to read. So may the Heavenly Father bless the reading of his word. Verse 1, Jehovah said, and is equivalent to the all highest light, the all knowledge. So Jehovah said, and is equivalent to the all highest light, the all knowledge. So when you read the OAHSPE, you read where Jehovah said, or a God says Jehovah said, is basically emphasizing the direct connection with Jehovah saying something as opposed to a God or a Lord or an angel saying something. So that helps you to determine now there are false gods who like to attribute themselves as to the all high as well. When you're reading the OAHSPE, and this is going to help you because you're going to read if you keep this in mind when you read the Bible and you read where God said and the Lord said and the angel says, an OAHSPE brother can read the Bible now and he can get the context of it. Who's speaking, whether it's someone righteous, someone wicked. Very important to know. Very important to know. Verse 2, Te said, the word Te is equivalent to the words the highest general expression of mankind or the universal voice. I better make sure I'm broadcasting, man. Testing. Test. Yeah, okay. This time I know I'm broadcasting. All right. Man, it kills me. I lost all that video. Verse 3, corpor or corporal said. Corpor signifies whatever is length, breadth, and thickness. So physicality. Uz said is equivalent to the vanishment of things seen and the things unseen. Uz is also equivalent to worldliness or world's people. Uz. Verse 5, Esphoma, or Esphoma said, equivalent to there is something in the wind, or as things seem to indicate signs of the times. You hear people say there's something in the air, man. You know, they mean there's some vibration in the air of something happening. They can't say exactly what it is, but they sense it. Verse 6, ES or S, or S said, is equivalent to the unseen world, also to the spirit world. Testimony of angels, also spirit. It's like when people say, the spirit told me this, or the spirit told me that. They're referring to S, ES. Verse 7, Hawk, or Hawk said, darkness. Ignorance is Hawk. Darkness may be corporal or spiritual. Dark ages are a time of anarchy and false philosophy. Verse 8, Cosmin, or Cosmin said, the present era, all knowledge and possession of man, embracing corporal and spiritual knowledge sufficiently proven. That's where we are right now, since 1848. There's a lot of exposing going on. There is a lot of exposing going on now. Who the beast is, the beast being religion, the deity, worship of man-made gods, anything born of a woman. And the children are seeing that. They breaking free of the beast. Brethren are getting set free now, coming out of bondage, because we're in the Cosmic era. And it's going to result in the end of all worship to gods, lords, angels. That's why Pluto going into Aquarius is going to be very hard on people. Because Pluto going into Aquarius signifies a monumental change in people. It's the glory of the Creator that He's bringing it about at this time to further confirm what He's doing in separating the darkness from the light. And a lot of people won't be able to come to the light because of tradition, because of, for our people, the Israelites, the carnal after the flesh, is going to be Stockholm Syndrome. We love our oppressor. Lot of brethren who have been under Christianity, no matter what you argue, no matter what point you make, not going to be able to come out of it. It's an incredible thing. We'll always choose the God of the Bible. We'll always choose the bloodshed, the murder of the God of the Bible. Verse 9, Cephas, or Cephas said, is equivalent to be established or be enforced as laws of the land, or the religion of the land as established. So that's the meaning of the Cepha. So those are the 9 entities right here. Jehovah, Te, which is the high expression of man, Es, which is the spirit, corporal, which is the physical, Hak, which is the spiritual darkness or false philosophy, Hak, Uz, unseen things, worldliness, worldly people, world's people, Cosmin, the era that we're in right now, Cosmin, universal knowledge, destruction of traditions, religious traditions, Esphoma, it's like the vibration of the spirit moving, Cephas, that which is established, law, religion of the land, 9 entities. Entities are things that affect our reality. And Jehovah is saying there are 9 things that do that. These 9 things here affect our reality. if you can see the screen. And then, so verse 10, it says, God said, these are 9 entities, or according to the ancients, Jehovah and his 8 children, his sons and daughters. And these are the same which in all ages, poets and philosophers, have made to speak as the family of the universe. Through them I speak. Jehovah is the light that is knowledge. The manifestation of knowledge in man is Jehovah. The growth of wisdom in man as the earth grows older is the tree of life. The growth of wisdom in man as the earth grows older is the tree of life. The growth of wisdom in a man. Chapter 1, Book of Ben, OAHSPE Bible, verse 1. It says, God said, before the Ark of Bond, the time Moses, Capelia, and Chine, 3,400 years before Cosmin, around 1,550 BCE, known as the Ark of Bond, because the OAHSPE shows you how every god, every archangel has a period of time of rulership. And it's usually 3,000 years, from what I understand. So God said before the Ark of Bond, which is a period of time, the earth was rank. Verse 2, the seed of the tree of light had been planted many times, but the rankness destroyed it. Verse 3, in the time of the Ark of Bond, the earth reached maturity. Verse 4, Jehovah said, I gave to the inhabitants of the earth Capelia, Moses, and Chine. Now, from what I understand, these are men that were given to show men the Creator. Verse 5, it says, through them the tree of light was made everlasting on the earth. Verse 6, the great peoples then knew I was God, and my word was with them. Verse 7, Spirit, yes, had spoken before that day, and man knew the presence of angels, but he did not heed them. Verse 8, when my word came, man listened and took notice. Mine was with authority. Verse 9, emblems, signs, and symbols were the letters of man's alphabet to lead him upward in wisdom. Wisdom does not come suddenly as darkness goes away, light comes. Great knowledge is all around to make man perceive it. It is the labor of God. Man said, I have looked in the corpor, but did not find knowledge. Corpor said, does your flesh know? Do your bones have knowledge? Is it in the blood? Jehovah said, I am knowledge. Come to me, I am the unseen. Behold yourself, O man. Can you put your finger on the place and say, here is knowledge? Does wisdom have bulk and a place? Hawk said, and remember, Hawk is the unseen. It's the unseen. Let me go back up and look at what Hawk is. That was one of the harder ones to remember. Darkness, ignorance. It may be physical or spiritual. Dark ages, time of anarchy, false philosophy. Okay, so Hawk said, who knows the boundary of light? Now this is darkness, this is ignorance talking. He says, behold, I cannot hide away from him. What is my small corner compared with the all light of ethereal? Verse 16, Jehovah says, do not think that the vault of the firmament is nothing, for there I have created ethereal worlds of sizes equal to corporeal worlds, but they are independent of them. These are my kingdoms prepared for the spirits of men, women, and children, whom I bring forth in the life on corporal. Nor are my ethereal worlds alike in density or motion, but of different consistencies, so they may be suitable for the very advancement of my children. So etheria, the above the atmosphere, are for, depending on whatever your spiritual grade is where you will reside. Whether it'll be, the density will be different for those with higher spiritual grades. You hear the phrase rare air, meaning the elevated spirits, the higher they dwell, the rarer the air, meaning it's a elevation that very few brethren reach. It's the same way in our reality. We start out on the earth, and then what we do on the earth, it determines what our spiritual grade is, what our elevation is in the spirit. Closer you are to the earth, then you cross over, then you still remain tied to the earth in your spirit. The first resurrection, and then the second resurrection is basically churchianity, religion. You only go as far as the God that you proclaim, that you subscribe to. Second resurrection. But Faithists, they go beyond that. They go to the third resurrection. They go to the highest of atmospheria, and then they go into etheria, and if I'm not mistaken, nirvana. I don't know if etheria and the nirvana are the same thing. They might be different. Nirvana might be the upper elevations, either above etheria or the higher elevation within etheria, which is a realm of the spiritual. It's kind of difficult to comprehend, but it basically, the creator is showing you that there are people in this reality, they determine their spiritual grade and then they lead their mortality. They go to their place, which is according to their elevated spiritual grade, and they go on for, like you read, where there's a multitude of planets. There's a unlimited number from what I can understand of like planets where you brethren, and remember, Creator, He said you faithists, you're training to be gods and goddesses. You are training. You're going to be the ones that other generations are going to be reading about, whether you were righteous or whether you were corrupt. That's the seriousness of the situation that we're in right now. We're basically building blocks for how we are going to be, what type of God, our Lord, our angel we will be. So you see how your character, it does matter. It do matter. Verse 17, it says, man said, "Oh world, give me light. Give me substantial knowledge so I can put my finger on it and say, here is the real." Verse 18, Uz said, "Oh man, behold your folly. All things you see, hear, and touch are my abode." Verse 19, man said, "What do you mean? You are vanishment. All things perish, and you are that which is without foundation." God said, "You are both a flesh man and spirit man. How can you expect your flesh talents to acquire substantial knowledge? All substance is evanescent, which means subject to vanishment, impermanent, and fleeting. All substance is evanescent." He said, "The real is the all light, which you cannot comprehend in entirety, and the flesh man cannot at all." Verse 21, man said, "Why then do I have this craving in my soul for all wisdom? Was my creation in vain?" Verse 22, Jehovah said, "Because I created you craving for light. You go forth searching. You are on a long road to the summit of all light, which even gods have not attained." Man inquired, "Why then was death created?" Verse 24, Uz said, "Behold, even souls molder into dust. Why would you have had a separate law for man? Spirit said, verse 25, Spirit, yes, said, I am within your physicality, I'm within your corpore. When your body molders in the dust, your corporal molders in the dust. Behold, I am the spirit man, your real self. I am your spirit. And like a planted seed, I dwell within your body, your physicality, your corporal. Verse 26, Jehovah has said, I created the corpore of man as a womb. For the eyes of man, by death, behold, the spirit is born. Man, that's something else. Verse 27, around my corporal worlds I place atmospheric. For even as the earth and other corporal worlds provide a womb for the spirit of man, so I've made atmosphere as the substance of a womb for the souls of men. Verse 28, man said, if when I am dead, I shall see the place, or let me read that again. It says, verse 28, man said, if when I am dead, I shall see the places, the germ of what light. Oh, read it again. If when I am dead, I shall see the place. Is the germ of that light not already in me? How am I made that I see but do not see this? Hear but do not hear this. If I am now dead to that which is to be, will I not then be dead to what now is? Give me light, O Father. Jehovah said, to man I give a corporal body so that he can learn corporal things, but death I made so that man could rise in spirit and inherit my ethereal worlds. Verse 32, senses I gave to all men, corporal and spiritual. Nevertheless, the two are one person. A man with corporal senses transcending chooses corporal things. A man with spiritual senses transcending chooses spiritual things. And that explains the world, man. You got people who ascend to the highest levels or whatever. Fleshly, they choose corporal things, physical things. Spiritual, they choose spiritual things. They eat spiritual food, spiritual words. They seek that which cannot be seen, which most people don't see. The difference. There are people, corporal and spiritual. Verse 31, I have made two kinds of worlds, corporal worlds and spiritual worlds. He who desires of corporal shall receive from corporal, for he corporal is my son, in whom I am well pleased. He who desires the spirit shall receive from spirit, for she, is my daughter, in whom I am well pleased. Cosman said, because man lives on corporal worlds, corporal is called son. But because man in spirit lives in spirit worlds, S is called daughter. Isn't that something? So it's like, that's from just reading this, it seems to explain why men have the dominion on the earth. Stronger, more dominant position on the earth. But it seems like in the spirit world, it's more of a feminine persuasion, feminine attributes that are promoted. You know, things like loving one another, serving one another. Those are pretty strong feminine attributes. And in the spiritual, it seems like the Creator is saying that is what really elevates a spirit to grow and to ascend to the highest heavens. So it's like a big mystery that verse 32, Cosmin, is telling you. Helps answer a lot of questions because there seems to be an imbalance, basically, is what I'm saying, between the earth and the spiritual. There seems to be an imbalance. Chapter 2, Book of Ben, verse 1, God said, hear me, O man, I've come to teach you wise dominion. Man said, the aborigines were free. Why should man with more wisdom learn dominion? Law said, Cephas, which means law, or that which is tradition or established. Law said, my peace is forced peace. I am the light and the life. Law, Cephas. Man inquired, behold, the air of heaven is free. Can dominion come down out of nothing as it seems and rule over something that is proven? Verse 5, how can God rule over solid flesh? Lilith said, O vain man, do I not come in the winds of heaven and cast cities and epidemic, and yet man does not see me? I inoculate in the breath. I cast fevers in the bright sunlight, yet no man sees me. Job said, I gave the unseen all power to rule over the seen. Cosmin said, oh man, why will you always search in corpore for the cause of things, physicality, for the cause of things? Behold, the unseen part of yourself rules over the seen. Verse 10, God said, do not think that the spirit worlds are less governed by system than are the corporal worlds. Same creator created all. Behold, all things are in dominion. You were in dark dominion before the time of bond. Verse 12, by my own light I gave you a dominion of light in the time of bond. Man inquired, if the unseen rules in man, what ruled the substance of man before he was made? Job said, I created all things, seen and unseen. My hand was always stretched forth in work. I make and dissipate everlastingly. Verse 15, behold, I make a whirlwind and ethereal hundreds and hundreds of millions of miles across, and it drives to the center of corporeal world from that which was unseen. Verse 16, I blow my breath upon the planet, and lo, man comes forth inquiring, who am I? What is my destiny? Verse 17, I send an elder brother of man to teach him and show him the light. Verse 18, God said, behold me, O man, I am an elder brother. I have passed through death and found the glory of unseen worlds. Verse 19, Jehovah gave me your God dominion over the earth. Jehovah gave me your God dominion over the earth and her heavens. Man said, I have found truth in corpore. I know I live, that the trees grow and die. This is true knowledge. Give me truth in regard to the unseen so that I can prove it true. Why, O God, do you give me matters of heaven and earth and signs and symbols? Give me the real light. I want no figures. Cosmos said, you are vain, old man. What then have you learned? Can you tell me why the grass is green, or why one rose is red and another white, or the mountains raised up, or the valley sunken low? Or why a man was not made to fly as a bird or live in the water like a fish? Where did the thought of shame come from? Even yourself you do not comprehend, nor do you know of your own knowledge. Time your beginning, you know 3 times 3 are 9, yet even this you cannot prove except by symbols and images. So we got to think about that for a minute. Symbols and images teach us things that no other way can. Basically, is what they're saying. That's kind of hard to understand for me at the moment. I know that it's telling me the truth. It's talking about the importance of signs and symbols and how they can teach in ways that other methods of learning cannot, is what it's saying here. Or why was man not made to fly as a bird or live in the water like a fish? Where did the thought of shame come from? Even yourself you do not comprehend, nor do you know of your own knowledge. The time of your beginning, you know 3 times 3 are 9. Yet even this you cannot prove except by symbols and images. It says, verse 24, nor is there anything in your physical corporal knowledge that you can prove otherwise except for your presence. And even that which you see is not your presence, but the symbol and image of it. For you yourself are only as a seed, a spark of all the light that you cannot prove to exist. Wow. Verse 25, man required where? Where then is real knowledge possible to man? If my corporal body, corporal senses are evanescent and soon to fly away, meaning impermanent. Even us, it means impermanent. And soon to fly away. How can I comprehend that which does not fly away, namely in spirit? Verse 26. Yet I know a truth. I know that 10 things are 10. This knowledge I can write down and clearly teach my brother. See, here are 10. This is exact science. And espoma, which means, remember, spirit, something in the air. It's a vibration of learning, but it's not something that can be something you can point to as to why you feel the way you do. So it says, as Spoma said, you have written only 2 strokes. Oh, okay, wait a minute. Here we go. I got to read this again. It says, yet I know a truth. I know that 10 things are 10. This knowledge I can write down clearly and teach my brothers. See, here are 10. So he writes 10. This is exact science. He's calling this what he's written 10, the 1 and the 0. And then as Foma says, you have written only 2 strokes and called them 10. Now I will show you 10. And as Foma wrote, 10 symbols in the form of lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yet do not be surprised, for because I have deceived you, I will now convict myself also. I said I would show you 10, and immediately I made 10 marks, but I should have written the word 10. Now you're wise. No, hear me. Now you're wise. No, hear me further, for all I have spoken is false. For I have not tried to persuade you that the one uttered word 10 was 10. Instead, I should have uttered 10 utterances. Your supposed exact science is nothing, and your supposed truth is only falsehood compounded and acquiesced in. So it's like the angel or the God is showing man that he has no way of proving what he believes to be true without dissecting it and showing him he cannot come to 100% truth. Verse 28, it says, Jehovah says, man's wisdom is simply the experience of my creation expressed to man's understanding in signs and symbols. Man said, if I search for the real, shall I never attain it? Why then this craving? Is truth only that which flies away? Verse 30, behold, you have said you shall love the Creator with all your heart and soul. How can I love that which I cannot comprehend? Spirit said, behold the utterances of the birds and the skipping of lambs at play. These are the expressed love they have for the Creator. It says to rejoice because you are created to seek exalted rejoicing. To cultivate the light of your life, to turn away from dark things. These are to love your Creator. Man said, well then, if truth cannot be found in mathematics, cannot be proven other than by things that are false. In fact, I will instead search for goodness. I will shun sin. Is this not wise? God said this is wise. But what are goodness and good works? So he's on a progression. Man is on a progression. And it seems like God is saying to just be satisfied with the blessing, the daily blessing that you come under, the fact that you can rejoice in the things that you experience without trying to find out the how and the why of everything, which you can never know. It's like the God here is saying that to man that you should just be satisfied with what I have created for your enjoyment without trying to figure out everything. And if we did learn to know anything or learn to know everything 100%, the first thing we would seek to do is give power to ourselves. We would seek to glorify, exalt ourselves, and destabilize that which the Creator is built up for our own benefit, because we would seek to do that which is right in our own eyes. That's a simple lesson. that's being learned here. We try to get all knowledge for the benefit, for the purpose of we'll use it against our fellow man. And the Creator, He's saying you can never know me, but you can experience the joy that I created for you, and let that be enough. Without trying to learn 1,000% everything about everything, because it cannot lead to it won't lead to that purpose that the Creator has for man, which is to enjoy the creation. We're just supposed to enjoy the creation. Just enjoy what He's created. Well, we got to know everything. We got so that we can take advantage of our brother. That's the first thing we want to do. We get a little power, a little knowledge. You see it in the world. The first thing that men do is they go and oppress their brother. A man, he learns something, he builds something, he creates something. First thing he does is he takes advantage of his brother. Maybe markets something that a brother needs, but the brother is unable to afford it. That's what men do. Like medicine, you have what is called Rockefeller, medicine, which is natural medicine. That was pretty much subdued by the academic powers that be, because there wasn't enough profit in it. You could develop it. Anybody could develop natural medicine in the sense that plants and herbs that you can eat for the healing of your body, that knowledge was taken away because it wasn't profitable enough. What man had to do was figure out how to make pharmaceuticals where he could make a profit and enslave his brother, and his brother might not even be able to afford that which could heal him. The natural herbs, the medicine that's in the earth, the good of the land, the Bible calls it. Man, he gets knowledge. He immediately runs to find a way where he can oppress his brother. That's why it's good for his knowledge to be limited, man. His knowledge has got to be limited. Because that's what capitalism is. It's the systematic oppression of those who they don't have the means to the resources that they need many times for their own survival. That's why the Creator is saying, I'll show you, I'll give you a little taste of what higher understanding can do, but I'm not going to give it to you as a whole, because you'll turn around, you will oppress your brother. That's what the reality we live under is. We live in the land of imbalance where there are privileged and they look after their own. They look after their own. Now that will conclude the reading of this word. Let me go in the room, see if anyone's in there. Okay. Brother Elijah done joined us. Prince Judah, Elijah. Man, I'm deflated, man. I did that whole first video with no audio. Oh man, oh man, oh man. Oh man, that is a body blow, but that's all right. I think I got enough out in the second video to cover what I said in the first video. So anyway, man, that was some word, Basically, we need to get to the level where we can appreciate the creation without trying to figure out the Creator himself, because we see what we'll do to one another. You can see it in this reality. You see what religion has brought us. Everybody sees it, man. Right now we're on the verge of destroying ourselves. And it's all because, like I read in the OAHSPE where the Creator, he said, man, he don't look to the Creator, man. He looks down instead of up. And that is the result. That will only bring destruction and bloodshed. The big picture is that we can just simply enjoy the creation that He's made for us. Just simply enjoy it. You know, just come under that blessing, use it to minister to your brother, serve your brother. Telling you, man, that's the whole. I mean, we're home free. We come under that vibration of just being able to enjoy the reality that the Creator has given for the purpose of serving our brethren. You read the OAHSPE when Creator was providing for the first man, then He turned around when He began to learn to live in cities and communities, and the first thing He does is He begins to hoard resources, and then that brings war because He never learned to just solely rely on the Creator. So anyway, brethren, I want to thank you for joining me. The first video, man, I feel like it done. Was doing it with no audio. So anyway, I'll make sure I'll correct that next time. Make sure it won't happen again. I want to give thanks to Heavenly Father, Earthly Mother, for this opportunity to be a light while I'm in this reality. And brethren, until I see you again on video, peace be unto you. Shalom.